goal, pushed over there. Will the referee say denial of a goal scoring opportunity? He's timed his run right. Now was he clipped there by Cubarsi? Find his red card.
Araujo then got him. Araujo's already on a yellow card, and Barcelona are going to go down to 10.
Denying a goal scoring opportunity. Araujo goes, another twist to the story here.
In football, there is a fine line between bravery and suicide. For the Barcelona of the current era, that line is exactly 35 meters from their own goal. It's called the High Line. To Hansi Flick and Xavi before him, it could be seen as tactical dominance, but to an elite counter-attacking team, it is an invitation to a crime scene. Just last week at the Spotify Camp Nou, it happened again. Pau Cubarsi, the 19-year-old jewel of La Masia, the man everyone called the new PK, walked down the tunnel in the 44th minute. It was a crucial quarterfinal tie against Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona once again crumbled. A straight red card in a Champions League quarterfinal, a season potentially hanging in the water now. But here is the terrifying truth for culés. This is not bad luck, because it is something that has been happening all around. Since 2024, Barcelona's defense has picked up 6 catastrophic, or even more than 6 catastrophic red cards in the most important games of the decade. We are not talking about tactical fouls when you're winning 4-0 against Getafe in La Liga. No, we are talking about Champions League knockouts, Supercopa de Espana finals, and Copa del Rey semifinals. Today, we're looking at just some of these cases. We're looking at why Ronald Araujo has become a red card magnet in big moments, why Eric Garcia's lack of pace is a tactical liability, and why, psychologically, Barcelona crumbles the moment they go down to 10 men. We have to start with the man at the center of the storm, the man who started it all, Ronald Araujo. For many years, he has been the heartbeat of this defense. He is a warrior, he is a physical marvel, whatever you want to call him. But in the modern era of VAR and high-pressing systems, Araujo has become a liability. Let's look at the famous PSG disaster of April 2024. Barcelona came in the second leg with a 4-2 aggregate lead. In fact, they even scored in the 12th minute through Rafinha. They were cruising, they were looking all set to qualify to the next round. Then, in the 29th minute, Bradley Barcola gets half a yard of space. Araujo, terrified of the 1v1, clips him. The decision, straight red card. What happens after that? A 4-1 collapse from that position and leading to a UCL exit. Fast forward to November 2025 against Chelsea, just in the league phase this season. 2 yellow cards. The first one was for dissent, a very stupid, unnecessary argument against the referee that earned him a yellow card, and the second one for a reckless, unnecessary, again, lunge on Marco Correa just 1 or 2 minutes before the halftime whistle. What happened after that? Well, Barcelona got trashed 3-0 at the Stamford Bridge. Here's one stat that should keep Hansi Flick awake at night. In the last 24 months, Ronald Araujo has committed 14 professional fouls in Europe. 21% of them have resulted in a dismissal. His aggression is his greatest weapon, but he hasn't learned the art of the controlled retreat. In a high-line system, if you miss the tackle, you are the last man. There is no cover. There is no safety net to fall back onto. You know, Araujo is like playing a game of Russian roulette every time he steps up to the halfway line. But it begs to wonder, why do Barcelona defenders don't trust their keepers in 1v1 situations? If Araujo's problem is aggression, Eric Garcia's problem is panic. Eric is a brilliant footballing defender. His passing range is elite. He's averaging a 92% completion rate this season. He is also one of the most versatile players in the Barcelona squad. You can put him anywhere in the back line or in midfield and he will shine there. But one thing that sets him back is his pace. Take the Monaco incident. Ter Stegen plays a poor pass. Yeah, but Eric's reaction is pure panic. Takumi Minamino comes from behind Eric Garcia to steal the ball that never reached him from Ter Stegen. But what does Eric Garcia do? Instead of trying to kind of confuse the defender or trying to tackle with him or try to get tangled with him, he pulls him down. It's in the 10th minute. It's in the 10th minute. Why? Because he knows if Minamino gets past him, he is not catching him. He chose a red card over a 1v1 goal. Then you look at the Copa del Rey semi-final in February against Atletico Madrid, the first leg where Barca lost 4-0, It's the 85th minute. Barca are exhausted. Barca are frustrated. Eric Garcia flies into Alex Baena. It's high, it's late, and it's an automatic red. It was just too much pressure. It was a lot of frustration. There's data that shows that Eric Garcia is in the bottom 15th percentile for recovery speed among La Liga defenders. In a 4-3-3 with a 40-meter gap behind the defense, that is a death sentence. He is a defender built for a low block, playing in a system built for very fast runners. Because every time he sees red, it's because his brain is faster than his legs. And then we have just last week, Pau Cubarsi. At 19 years old, he is doing things with the ball that Gerard Piqué wasn't doing until he was 24. But the match against Atletico was a moment that would have definitely opened his eyes as to how the big leagues really are. 44th minute, a long ball clearance from Atletico Madrid, simple, direct, just like how Simeone wants it. Cubarsi gets caught goal side. He tries to recover, run back, tries to stop Giuliano Simeone from going into a 1v1 with Joan Garcia. But Joan Garcia doesn't have a problem. He is preparing himself for the 1v1. But Pau Cubarsí decides he wants to take responsibility himself, and just like many instances and many Barca defenders before him that we talked about, he decides to get his leg in and bring Simeone down instead of just trusting Joan Garcia to maybe make a save, or the worst that could happen is they go 1-0 down but they still have 11 players on the pitch. This is the innocence trap. We expect these kids to be perfect, but the system provides them with zero margin for error. Since 2024 or even before that, Barcelona defenders have been left in 1v1 isolated situations more than any other team in the Champions League knockout stages. You can't ask a 19-year-old to play without a safety net and then be surprised when he falls. Whenever a Barcelona defender goes off, this team doesn't just adjust, they completely dissolve. Under Hansi Flick, Barca's plan B for going down to 10 men seems to be that hope plan A still works. They don't drop into a deep block, they don't sacrifice a winger for a defensive anchor quickly enough. Look at the aggregate scores in these red card games. Over the last 6 instances, Barcelona has been outscored 18-3 after the dismissal. Some might argue that there is a leadership vacuum in the defense. There is not a Puyol figure telling everyone to shut up and sit deep. Instead, we see managers getting frustrated on the touchline and players just lunging into careless tackles because they believe that they are responsible for stopping an attack without trusting the rest of the system. The crumble is psychological. The players stop trusting the system the moment one cog is removed. So, what is the solution? After so many high-profile disasters, is it time to abandon the high line in big games? My verdict, no. You don't abandon your identity. But one thing that's very crucial is that Barcelona needs to learn that conceding a goal is better than conceding a red card. If Araujo lets Barcola score in 2024, it's 1-1 on the night, but Barca still have 11 men and an aggregate lead. If Cubarsi lets Simeone through, maybe Joan Garcia makes the save. And if he doesn't, well, you're 1-0 down with 45 minutes to play in just the first leg with the full squad. In the training pitch now, Flick needs to burn this into their brains. Trust the keeper, stop the hands, keep the 11, don't rush into tackles. I want to hear from you. Is the highlight a tactical masterpiece or suicide mission? Who is most to blame for this red card saga that Barcelona has been finding themselves in over the last couple of years? Drop your thoughts below. If you're a Barca fan, how many more of these can your heart take? Let me know in the comments and subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed what I said about Barcelona and the red card and many more things. Forza España, and I will see you in the next one. Hasta luego.